Components are basically a function that you want to make use of in your program. Okay, so let's say as you can see, this is a function, and of course this is a component. All right, so we can call this app component as it is right now. We can call this app component, but let's say we want a component that we want to name it probably a button component. Okay, so all you have to do is come under source also, and then create a folder. Remember, we also learn structuring, folder structuring. Okay, that is why for some things we do create folders for them. All right, so you can just call it components as it is right now, and then you can create another folder inside that component, and then call it button. Okay, button, and then inside this button you can just decide to say let's say this is gonna be button.js. okay, so also inside this button, let's create a CSS file for that button so that we can style that button. Okay, we'll just go ahead and say button.css. okay, as you can see now, I have a component, and the component is named button. All right, so I'm just gonna have button.js file and then button.css file. Okay, let's see, when you open your button.js file, okay, I'm just gonna type in this rfce. If I type in rfce, it's just going to show me this, and if I click on it, it gives me this sorry. Okay, so when it gives me this, it has already created the function for me, which is the component. But you might want to get to know how I came about this automatically. Okay, all I want you to do is to go ahead and come to your extension right here, and then type in ES7. okay, make sure you're connected to internet while you are trying to type this. So you can just locate this particular one, the first one. It says ES7 React Redux that's here, and then React Native. Okay, so just go ahead, sorry for that, just go ahead and install it. Okay, so when you are done installing it, whenever you create a file, and then you just type in rfce. okay, this will just come out, and then you can click on the first one, and it gives you that particular function with export. Okay, by the way, to do it offhand, all you have to do is to just say import React. Okay, you are importing it from React. Okay, you're trying to just write a function offhand, so you can just say function of button. Just then we use to write a function while writing JavaScript. Okay, function of button this way, and then that way it's gonna return something, and it's gonna return a div. Notice that when I type in a div, it gives me an image abbreviation that if I click on it, it gives me this particular thing. Okay, like it gives me an auto opening and closing tag. Okay, so basically when we're doing HTML, this used to happen, but you might find it difficult to in your own case when you start up React and you want to do something like dot button as a class name. Okay, notice the way it's created this for me automatically without me having to fully type it. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how to go about it, probably because you might find it difficult. Okay, you might do yours and it will not come out. So finally, let's finish up our component. I'll just go ahead and say export default. Okay, I'm exporting this because I can use it anywhere I want to use it around my application. I can just say export because the name of my component, export default button. And right about now, we have created this component. I can just come here and say something like click me. Okay, click me, and I'm gonna show us how this thing is going to appear soon enough. But before then, I want you to get to know how to use that particular image abbreviation. Okay, so what I want you to do is to go ahead and click on the setting that is right here, and when you click on it, just go ahead and click on setting, and then you can just go ahead and search React. Let's say search React, and then when you search it, scroll down a bit, you will see this. Okay, yours should be empty. Okay, yours should be empty. So all you have to do is to click on add item, and then copy this particular one that says JavaScript and paste on the key. okay, and then for copy this one, I say JavaScript React and place on the value, okay, just the same way I did it here. I copied this one and say JavaScript here as the key, and then JavaScript React as the value. When you are done with that, it saves automatically. All you have to do is just close these settings, and then when you have closed this, everything works perfectly fine. Okay, so back to the main view. Here we have gotten these components. Okay, so imagine in your application you want to have button on your application. Okay, so instead of having to write the button over and over again, why don't you create a component and you can then make use of that component over and over again instead of having to write it over and over again? How do I mean? Okay, let's say we want to make use of this button in our application, and then all you have to do is to come, since we have created the application right now as it is, and rather we have created the components right now as it is, and then we have exported this component also. Okay, so let's say you want to make use of it in our application directory or application components. All you have to do is to come there, you want to make use of it. Now do something like this. Okay, this tag followed by the name of the component you want to import. Okay, as you can see, as I start typing it, it shows me this automatic importation. I'll just go ahead and click on it, and when I click on it, it automatically imports button from this component. All right, from this component and up to this point. Okay, now reason why it imports is because we already given it an export keyword. Okay, we already exported the button. That is why it can be imported, because if you do not export it, definitely your other programs, your other files on other components will not see this particular thing. Okay, so when you must have been done with that, you just go ahead and self-closing. Okay, it's gonna be a self-closing, and then you can now save your file. Okay, now when you save it and allow it to compile, after compiling, just go ahead and check out your work. When you check out your work, you will notice that I have click me here now. Okay, so remember in HTML, all we would have done was to just go ahead and keep on copying and pasting this whole line. Okay, as it is like this now, we just go ahead and copy and paste it, but it is not so in React. Imagine when you have these lines to be more than 100 lines of code, or are you gonna be copying 100 lines of code over and over again? No, but this time around, just create a component for it, and then you cannot make use of it anywhere, anytime, anyhow. Okay, so let's say we have that component, I want to make use of it 3 times. I'll just go ahead and copy it 3 times. Okay, and then it gives me this. So imagine when each of these is actually 100 lines of code, it's gonna be right now 300 lines of code, just like that. But because we have separated it by creating a separate component for it, we cannot just make use of 3 lines of code instead of 100 lines or 300 lines of code. All right, so next in line is actually to slide this button. Let me just go ahead. By the way, let me just show us how it is. As you can see, we have it 3 places right now. Okay, so next in line is to actually go ahead and style this component. Okay, I want to start this component. I'll just remember we have created our CSS file. You might want to ask, is it right for us to be creating a separate CSS file for every component or everything we create? It's advisable that you create a separate CSS file for it. Okay, so that it makes your work very readable. Okay, not bulky, you know, when you try to read the code. Okay, so that whenever you're trying to focus on a particular component, you just go straight to the CSS file and focus on it. All right, so I'll just go ahead and do what I've taught us initially. I'll just go ahead and import our CSS file by doing this, and then followed by this, and then remember we have button class name here. I'll just enter here. Okay, button, yes, I'll just enter here, and I'll just click on select button rather, and I'll just say let us give it a proper color blue. But I have color blue. Let's see, it's gonna have a color of white. Let's see, it's gonna have a width of fit content rather, and then gonna have a pattern of let's say 2 pixels, and then finally just a little border radius of about 10 pixels is also okay for us. And then it loads, and we just can see this, as you can see, we have this. You can even try to apply cursor pointer, so that whenever we come to it gives us that pointer like picture. All right, so you can just go ahead and check out this, as you can see. So this is how you can actually create a component. Okay, a component is not limited to any buttons, but however, as time progresses, we are gonna see how to make use of these components and do much more things. Okay, thank you for staying through.